Hey there, it's Drew Jones from Project Lift, and in this week's video, we're looking at training with an injury in Olympic weightlifting. Now, this is something that comes up for many athletes. We get a lot of questions about it, so let's show you what you can still do and how you can still make gains and build a very strong and healthy body without letting this injury just be a thing that reoccurs and reoccurs. So if you're watching this video, I imagine you want to get better at your Olympic lifts, and if that's so, I encourage you, check out our free guide, How to Improve Your Olympic Lifts Now. It's free, it'll give you something to work on today, you'll love it. Once this video helps you, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, pay it forward, share it with a friend, and subscribe because new videos are coming each week. All right, we need to first define what is an injury. This is a question that always gets me to smile when new athletes come in because I'll ask them, do you have any injuries? Anything bug you? And for some athletes, they'll be like, no. And then I change the question. I say, is there anything in your training, any part of your body that you adjust your programming on any given day? You know, oh, my shoulder's kind of bugging me, I'm not gonna go overhead today, right? Is there any of that? And very often those same athletes will light up and be like, well, actually, yes. So for me, in my definition of injury, if you're having to adjust your program on any given day due to a part of your body not being able to do it, that's an injury, right? And when I say not be able to do it, and if you're like many of those athletes that I've worked with, they'll be like, well, I could do it. I'm not talking about forcing yourself to do it. If you're not able to do it where it's smooth and you're able to hold good positions without grimacing or sharpness or even dull ache, if you're wanting to get away from it, that's an injury. Now, here's the kicker, where a lot of times we battle using that word, and that is creating separation between the process and an injury, right? We pretend, we create an illusion that they're separate, that if I'm injured, I'm no longer in the process and I'm failing. And if I'm in the process, then no injuries are there, right? Here's the kicker, guys. Injury and process are one and the same, right? There's no separation between them. The separation is an illusion that we create, so they're together. So we can be injured and recognize that we are very much in the middle of the process, because unfortunately tweaks, injuries, these things come up as part of the process. They're one and the same. So if you're creating separation between these both, that's a mind game that you're playing that's holding you back in a big way. Second, we need to be honest. We need to have honesty with ourselves, and we need to have honesty with our team. And I define our team as our coaches, any support staff around doctors, chiros, physical therapists, our partner, significant other, our training partner, all of it. We need to have honesty of what's going on. And this is step one to designing a plan around an injury, around a setback, around something going on that is key. We must be honest, because if we're honest, we can develop a great plan and come through this stronger, healthier, and happier. If we're dishonest with ourselves and we continue lying to ourselves, telling ourselves we're not injured, telling ourselves it's nothing to worry about, not being honest with our coach and the chiropractor and our training partners, that's how we make this injury much bigger than it ever was. So honesty is the first process, is owning up to what's coming up and letting ourselves be in that space where we admit what's going on. And once you let yourself do that, then and only then can you create a great plan going forward. And finally, let's look at attitude. So I've defined what an injury is. Anything that we need to change our programming for a part of our body on any given day, that's an injury. Okay, so then we're being honest with ourselves, right? Like, hey, my shoulder's bugging me. You know, this is the second time in 2 weeks that I've taken snatch out of my program because of my shoulder. It's honesty time. Now I'm letting my coach know, I'm admitting it to myself, all of that. When we get to attitude, this gets into what story do we create around that moment where we're honest and we admit there's something going on. We can create the story that is very unsupportive around, hey, I'm injured, I'm not able to do this anymore, everything's falling apart. And if you remember where I said when we defined an injury that a lot of athletes separate injury from the process. When you do that, when you create a story there, that's what you're doing. You're separating them. You're saying that now that you're injured, now that this is going on, that's somehow separate from the overall process of getting stronger, getting better as we go down this path towards our goal. They're one and the same. Another way that we could do it from a story standpoint and attitude standpoint is this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to understand the area of our body that's breaking down in a different way that's going to allow us to strengthen it, that's going to allow us to control it better. And if that's true, then our lifts get better. And that's exciting. If you realize that every injury is a blessing in disguise, it's going to give you an opportunity to work on something that you wouldn't have necessarily worked on if it wouldn't have happened. Now you can go into it with energy and you can learn more about yourself, more about your movement, and get stronger than you would ever think possible. So that's really it when it comes to injury, right? Outside of that, it gets very specific to the athlete. So instead of giving you examples of, hey, this athlete and this is what they did, I encourage you to go through these, right? To be honest with yourself, right? To get support. If you need support, hit up the comments below. I'd love to give you some tips, love to give you some support of what's going on. And create a story, create an environment that you can be successful in, because every thought that we have comes back in and builds what we're getting more of. So if you paint that picture of this is the end of the road, I'll see you later. But if you're creating the image that this is just the beginning, I'm excited to go on the journey with you.